sharing with you 15, count them, 15 minutes of success coming to you with successful entrepreneurs all around the globe that's going to share with you what they do to be successful so you can too.
Welcome back to 15 Minutes of Success with Dr. Lotus Riché. And let me tell you, I have had a phenomenal day, and I hope that you have had a phenomenal day too. So as we prepare for our next amazing guest, I want to invite you to go ahead and take your phone, take your tablet, or whatever you're using, take this phone and share this broadcast. So while we are sharing this broadcast, because let's face it, sharing is caring. And so while we are sharing this broadcast, I want to give you the opportunity to share this with your friends. So take a few minutes and go ahead and share this broadcast while we hear some amazing information from our sponsors with the Lotus Riché Ignites team. So many people out there today are saying, hey, Lotus, I want to start my own podcast. I want to do blogs and all that. Well, guess what? We help you with personal and business coaching. We also help you to explode your brand by upbranding. We also connect you to people beyond your front yard that don't even know you. Let us help you connect with people globally and expand your territory. Contact us today at lotusignite@gmail.com and let's schedule your discovery meeting now.
I had the opportunity to work with Lotus Riché and her team to create a promo video for my business. And let me tell you, she and her team are pretty darn outstanding. I had recorded a video that we were going to use in the promo. And during our meeting, they actually walked me through what worked in the video, and they provided suggestions for improving the video so that I can actually capture the audience and the clients that I want and the people that need my services. They actually told me what I could add to the video and how to set the entire thing up so that when people watch that promo, they will come away knowing who I am, what I do, and why they should contact me. So if you have the chance to work with Lotus Riché and her team, you are not going to be disappointed.
Many people are trying to get in front of people on social media and don't know how because they don't know how to live stream. Well, you've come to the right place at the right time. And if you want to get noticed, you need to see Lotus. So reach out to her at www.lotusigniteyou.com. That's www.lotusigniteyou.com so that you can get in front of the people that need your services and your products today. Hello, and welcome back to 15 Minutes of Success with Dr. Lotus Riché. I am super duper happy to have you here today because I've got a phenomenally incredible guest that's here with me today. Let me share a little bit with you about this amazing guest. She is a trailblazer in her own right. But before I go there, let me tell you a little bit about me, just in case you're a first-time viewer. My name is Dr. Lotus Riché, and I'm a global transformation strategist. I'm the host and keynote speaker to this trainer, the Guinness World Record holder 2020, and a transformation strategist. And it's time for you to transform with 15 minutes of success with my upcoming guest. So with no further ado, let me bring this straight to you from my guest.
What I'm finding is many people out there want to do retreats, conferences, and workshops. Many of them I'm going to plan this event going to be a success. And that's great if they can pull that off. However, most people don't know where to begin to find the most amazing venues. They don't know where to begin to negotiate without having to have attrition ratios that can bankrupt them. They don't know. I've literally helped people who had events planned and they were ready to lose $25,000, get that money back, and change their contract. That was non-cancelable and non-changeable. I have an amazing gift of hospitality. I was a director of sales and a general manager of hotels. And so through that, I've learned the importance of doing what I have called a proprietary needs assessment, where I go in and I assess my clients' needs.
And if you are ready to have your needs met, you need to meet my guest, none other than Jill Reynolds from Brave Heart Workshops. Hello, Jill. Welcome to the show.
Woo-hoo! I love Lotus. I'm so glad I'm here. The best show in the United States is the Lotus Riché show.
All right. Thank you, darling. I appreciate you. For those of you that's just coming on, I have the amazing pleasure to be sitting right here next to Jill Reynolds. She's an incredible event planner. She's an author. She's a speaker. And she's the CEO of Brave Heart Workshops. And she's joining us from Branson, Missouri today to talk about 15 minutes of success. She's going to give us 5, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 success tips for us for today. And so, Jill, let's get right into it. So how you doing today?
I'm amazing. I'm always amazing when I'm on your show because you bring such light to the world.
Yes. Thank you so much. So viewers, we appreciate you. And please take notes because Jill is getting ready to get right into it. So Jill, I know that you have a zeal for business. You've been into the hotel industry for many, many years, over 20 years. And here's the thing. You've taken that knowledge and you've applied it not just into business, but in your own personal life, because even when you have events that are maybe family events or something like that, you take that knowledge and you are able to negotiate with the hotels, with the other venues. You're able to do this and you teach people how to thrive when they are having magnificent events, no matter where it is in the world. So what has been your top 5 key things that has helped you be successful?
Well, I'm going to take you on a quick journey. So first and foremost, my mother and dad were both in sales. My dad worked for Dr. Pepper as a regional manager, and my mother was in different sales abilities. One thing my mom taught me, Lotus and everyone, was not to stay in the same field for more than 5 years because you can make yourself unmarketable. And so if you're in sales, she said, switch around. So I first started off selling radio advertising and creating my own commercials that were very marketable. Then I got into air freight and truck freight shipping, and I didn't take too much of my mom's advice because I stayed in it for 15 years. And then I went into technology sales, selling the first multifunctional document management solutions that hit the streets of copy, print, scan, and fax. And I did that for 15 years.
Right.
And then I went to school and got my certification in meeting and event planning and became a director of sales and general manager at hotel properties. So I first want to say that so that you know my background.
Right.
And so one client that I had, which was with Continental Cans. You remember the big company? They make all of the caps that go onto like your ketchup and mustard.
Yes.
And so I talked to a really tough purchasing agent one time, and he said to me, Jill, you have more perseverance than any sales rep I have ever met. You never give up. And so what I learned from perseverance is many of us that have been in sales for anything, branding, selling our products, our services, we get frustrated when we don't get that sale and we can't figure out what are we doing wrong. And so part of perseverance is never going into the sale feeling as though that rejection will set you back. take rejection and learn from it and grow from rejection and persevere through rejection so that you can become even better than you ever were. And the other thing that I always did, Lotus, is before I got out of my car to go on to a sales call, I sat in the car for a moment. And let's say I was calling on you, Lotus. I would pray and say, Father God, please open Lotus's ears today if she believes my products and services are the best for her. And if they're not, let me help her and direct her to what the better solution is for her business. So I always went in, always wanting to be a partner with you and persevere through that. And so I became a team player with my clients. So that was number one.
Awesome.
Number two, which I got from my favorite first sales manager, Jack Holt, is he said, Jill, to be successful, you must write down and plan your work for the day. Make a list of what your plan is, and then work your plan. Many people wake up and don't have any idea what they're going to plan for the day.
Right.
For example, today I woke up and said, I've got 7 podcasts I need to stream. So in between my interviews, I'm going to spend the entire day streaming those and getting them done. So I planned that for today, and I'm working that plan. So plan your work and work your plan.
So I want to ask you this before we go on to 3. I want to ask you this, because you're sharing some golden nuggets. And folks, I hope, first of all, I want to thank you all for being here today. Of course, joining our show. But I want to encourage you, please, because she's sharing these 5 success tips for today. Please take notes, because this information, I mean, she's a well-known speaker, and people pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for this information. And today we're giving this to you because we want you to be successful. So I want to trickle back, because Jill, you said something very profound. You said that perseverance is the key, and don't feel, that rejection will set them back, but to persevere. But then you came back and said, even though you're persevering, you've got to plan your work and work your plan. Why is this such a critical piece, especially for people who are really booked and busy? Why is this planning your work and work your plan so critical?
If you don't make a plan for the day, things are going to get in the way. If you have children, kids' soccer games, a sick kid, whatever it is in your life, busyness is going to be your plan, not a plan that's going to eliminate busyness, believe it or not. When you plan ahead, it's no different than for you listening that want to be on a weight loss plan. If you don't plan the time and what you're going to eat for the day, guess what? You're going to skip a meal. And when you skip a meal, guess what? You gain weight because your body stores fat like a bear in the hibernation. So if you don't plan, like before I came on, I knew what I needed to do at 2:30 for my meal plan today to continue my weight loss. So, and then writing down and knowing what I'm going to eat for the day, not just going and grabbing the first thing you can catch. So find in the refrigerator. So when you plan anything in life, you're going to be successful.
Right. Wow. So planning perpetuates success. So very key. Hope you write this down. Plan your work and work your plan. So the third thing that you wanted to share with us today is
creating a unique marketing plan for what your brand and finding out what your brand is. I remember, Lotus, and it's kind of funny because when I wanted to start doing unique retreats with Dr. Laura Wood, the name that came to me was Braveheart Workshops. And I created that unique brand. However, later on, when she got pregnant and she couldn't do the retreats with me, I decided, well, I'm going to rebrand. And now I'm going to be at a meeting and event planner for other people who want to do events, except, instead of just doing them with me and Laura. Right. So at that time, I knew I had already established the name Braveheart Workshops. So if I would have slowed it down a little bit, I know what I would have done different. Right. You always learn from your mistakes. I would have called
Exactly.
it, I would have called my company Braveheart Events, because Braveheart Events would have covered conferences, retreats, and workshops. But when I
Right.
called it Braveheart Workshops, it made people think I just do workshops, which I don't.
Mhm,
But I already
mhm.
had in my Google search engine way too many hits to rechange that. So I
Right.
had to create another image on my website. So that's number one. Number two, when
Awesome.
I had this feeling that I was supposed to start doing my own podcast show,
Mhm.
I did. Do I call it Braveheart Podcast? No. And this woman said to me, "Well, what are you trying to accomplish?" I said, "I'm trying to accomplish people connecting and
Right.
sharing story." She says,
Mhm,
"Well, why not call it The Connection Show?" And I went, boom.
mhm.
So that became my
There it is.
marketing platform, The Connection Show. And now I've just been asked to have my own TV show with
Mhm.
X Media Group every
Yep.
Thursday from 11 a.m. to 11:45. Well, I
Mhm.
didn't want that show to get confused with my Connection Show. So I
Right.
now changed it just to one word, The Connection Gathering. So I'm
Oh, wow.
utilizing my brand of connection. I'm utilizing my brand of Braveheart
Mhm.
into my whole platform. And then someone said to me, because I'm wanting to write my own book, and I wanted it to be called Resilient because I'm so resilient. And
Mhm.
someone said, but you got to have the word Braveheart in there. So I thought,
Right.
what about Resilient Braveheart
Mhm.
or something?
So,
Because I love the word resilient,
mhm,
but they
mhm.
said with your brand, you got to keep the name Braveheart in there because people know
Right.
you by that name.
Right. And this is uniquely planning your work, working your plan, and creating a unique marketing plan for your brand, because you really got to think futuristic so that you don't put yourself kind of in like a bubble so that people only think you do one thing. So you want to name your brand something where you can reach a gamut of people rather than one small group of people. So I love that. So what's your number 4 tip?
And I want to say before we go on to that is, and two, remember, once you
Mhm.
get that out there, that's going to be your SEO
Right.
algorithm. So you can't change it and think you're going to keep your audience. So
Right.
number 4 is
Mhm.
be authentic.
Oh, I
I
love
think
that.
nothing is worse that I see that someone that comes onto a show that
Mhm.
comes on and is like so into them, they have
Mhm.
no authenticity and saying,
Right.
like I failed, like I just said, I failed. I should have called it Brave Hard
Yep.
Events. I didn't plan well. So be authentic. We make mistakes in life. None of us are perfect. Don't come
Yep.
on to shows and act as though you're so together that you never make mistakes or you don't cry and you don't hurt. Because I
Exactly.
cry and I'm hurt. I'm still brave and courageous, but man, have I made a lot of mistakes in life.
Wow. I love that. I love that authenticity. And I love that you're the first one to say, hey, I made a mistake or I did something. How can I fix it? Because that's another key component, is that in having authenticity, when you do make a mistake, own it. When you do make a mistake, don't be afraid to go to someone and say, hey, I've made a mistake, can you forgive me, or what have you? Because it's really up to them to forgive or not. But if they don't forgive you, just know that you've done your part through your authenticity, and you've got to continue to move on. So, wow, thank you for sharing that. That's huge. That's powerful. I hope all of you are writing it down. If you like what Jill has said thus far, but if authenticity is a key thing that really rocks your boat, go ahead and put a number 5 in the comment block, because a lot of people lose out on business, they lose out on family, they lose out on friends because they're not authentic. And Jill, you came right in talking about this when you got to number 4, and you shared, like, look, I'm transparent, and I love that about you. So Jill, what's your number 5? What's your number 5?
Well, my number 5 comes from my son, Jeremy. My son has said to me, Mom, and this was when I was in therapy and treatment for eating disorder. And he went with me to a session and he says, Mom, I could put a red flag in front of you and you wouldn't know what a boundary looked like, because I lived in a crazy, insane family that had no boundaries. And it's taken me years to figure that out. He said, but there's one thing about you, Mom, that sets you apart from everyone I've ever met. And he says, even though you drive me crazy in so many ways, he goes, you are the kindest person I've ever met in my life. He goes, if you had $1 million, you would spend every dime of it helping other people. And, that's who I am, I just started doing Uber and Lyft driving just because I wanted to make extra money to get a new website that I'm putting together. And I've been picking people up. And so where it says, always be kind and inclusive, and you never know what someone's going through. And I picked up a man today in a wheelchair who is missing a leg. And, I gave him my phone number because he says, sometimes I wait for 2 hours to get a Lyft ride, someone to answer Lyft. And I said, here's my phone number. Call me and I'll make sure I turn on my app as soon as you need a ride. I'll make sure so you don't have to wait 2 hours. And so just thinking about other people instead of yourself all the time, be kind, and never, ever, ever see someone and look at them and judge them by their outside. Right. You don't know what they're going through.
Exactly. So I say that empathy is key, but another great thing, and this is one of the reasons why you're one of the upcoming speakers at this Becoming the Best You conference, because we all should really have a brave heart. And that's what you're going to bring to this amazing conference. So folks, if you have not heard about the Becoming the Best You conference, it's coming up. And guess what? Jill Reynolds from Braveheart Workshops, she is going to grace the stage at the Becoming the Best You conference in St. Louis. And for those of you that may not have seen anything about it yet, here's something for you.
One of the best conferences of the year is finally here, Becoming the Best You conference. Join us live or virtually and hear from the greatest speakers in the country. Brenda Ringwood, Terrence Lethbridge, Stacey Wahey, Arcavius Armstrong, Dr. Lotus Riché, Regina Platt, Dr. Rick Fulton, Anthony Russo, Chuck Doyle, Dr. Ruben West, Jennifer Lauren, Jessica Mortier, Dr. Jawanda Rollins-Fells, Dr. Lauren Michaels-Harris, Indy Nam, Tracy Randolph, Isabel Black, Sarah Minguez, Jill Reynolds, Kevin Wilson, Saccone Prince, Definitely Holly, Chuck Prison, Dr. Michael Freeland, Tommy Morgan, Prince Michael, James Griffin, Charlotte White, Aaron Page, Jeremy Nunez, Jeff Martinet Jr., Belton Showell III. Becoming the Best You Conference, February 17th through the 19th, 2023. Clayton Plaza Hotel, St. Louis, Missouri. Get your tickets today.
Wow, that is going to be an amazing conference, and you have to be sure to be there. So what we want to do is make sure you go to www.comechangeyourlife.com. Make sure you go there, because this is where you want to be. So for those of you that haven't gotten your ticket yet, go ahead and grab your ticket, because seats are limited. Go to www.comechangeyourlife.com and be in the room with the rest of the winners that's coming in to become the best you that you can be. So with that being shared, what can people expect to hear from you, Jill Reynolds, at the Becoming the Best You conference?
Well, I know this is a weird answer back to you, Lotus, but I know it's going to sound strange to the audience. I don't know. And I say that in love because I have so many success stories of change in my life. And I say that because 10 minutes or 5 minutes before I go on stage, I pray to God and say, what does the audience need to hear today? And so I show up with no intention, but I show up to definitely have a story change your life. So I have many stories of hope, health, and healing. And I know whichever one I'll share that day was inspired by God and was given from God to you for a purpose for this event.
Wow. I love it. I love it. So thank you so much, Jill, for sharing that. And folks, make sure you get your tickets today at www.comechangeyourlife.com and make sure you register now. Be there or be square. And so with that being said, Jill, I know that you've got an amazing event also coming up besides the conference. Your Aruba amazing trip that you're hosting with Brave Heart Workshop. So how can people reach out to you?
Well, go to my website because for anyone listening to the show, we're coming up to Christmas. So if you want to go to Aruba, February 5th through 11th, I fly in and out of St. Louis, believe it or not. So you can catch a flight on the 5th. We can go to Aruba till the 11th, and then I'll come back to St. Louis for a couple of days and stay in St. Louis for the Becoming the Best You. Now, because Lotus has brought me onto the show today, I'd love her audience to be offered $150 off registration if you register before Christmas. Get your registration done and give this to you as a Christmas Valentine's gift. And you definitely, when you go on the website, you'll find my phone number. You must call me personally if you want the $150 off because it won't show up on my website, but you'll get that by saying you heard about it on the Dr. Lotus Riché show.
Wow. 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 So get with Jill Reynolds at www.braveheartworkshops.com. Get this Aruba Connection getaway from February 5th to the 11th, 2023. This is the place you want to be. You've got to also register to come hear Jill give from her heart the word from God right to you about her message, but you got to be there to hear the message. So make sure you register today at www.comechangeyourlife.com. And to all of our viewers worldwide, we want to thank you. We see you, Angela from Washington, D.C. We're so happy to have you. We see you, Yvonne Jackson Starr, the credit repair person herself out of New Jersey. We see you. And Nikki Hammer all the way out of Chi-Town. We see you too. And she said, yes, and you're welcome. Thank you, Miss Yvonne. And Jill, Angie said, Jill has a great perseverance and open to collaborate. And yes, she is open to collaborate and she's ready to collaborate with you. And we see Brenda Ringwood doing double duty as well, because we want you to get your booty right into those seats because you might not be able to put it on repeat. So we want you to be there. And Brenda says the cover doesn't tell what's actually in the book. That's right. So here you go. You've got to come and you've got to get into this book because we're going to make history at the Becoming the Best You. We've got Arcavius J. Armstrong. We've got Anthony Russo. We've got so many folks that's going to be there. And Mr. Do It himself, Mr. Unstoppable, is the co-host with none other than the host of this event, Brenda Ringwood. And so make sure you come there and check out Jill Reynolds, because Jill Reynolds is going to be there and she's going to share. And so we know that sharing is caring. So we invite all of you to share this message with your fans. So Jill, any final words that you want to share with the audience about the Becoming the Best You conference? Because we know you're going to be there.
Well, last and foremost is Brenda Ringwood is one of the most amazing women I've ever met. And this woman is authentic. She's the real thing. And she too falls into line as one of the kindest people I've ever met. And so she's put this together to love on all of you. And
Yes.
I really do believe no matter what you're doing, drop everything and get tickets today and be with us in St. Louis. We are an amazing group of friends. You will fall in love with these speakers, and we will be friends of yours for a lifetime. So please sign up today.
Awesome. I love it. And so, look, Jill, it's always a pleasure to have you. I thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you on the other side backstage. So, folks, thank you again for joining us on 15 Minutes of Success with Dr. Lotus Riché and my amazing guest today, Jill Reynolds from Brave Heart Workshop. If you want to get a workshop, don't stop. Go ahead, right on over to Jill Reynolds and make sure you come and support her and hear her message on becoming the best you. So I'd say come on through to becoming the best you, but what you've got to do is go to www.comechangeyourlife.com and get your ticket today. So until I see you, make sure you got your feet in the seats on the becoming the best you can be, because we want to see you be the best that you can be. We'll see you next time.
One of the best conferences of the year is finally here, Becoming the Best You Conference. Join us live or virtually and hear from the greatest speakers in the country. Brenda Ringwood, Terrence Lethbridge, Stacey Wahey, Arcavius Armstrong, Dr. Lotus Riché, Regina Platt, Dr. Rick Fulton, Anthony Russo, Chuck Doyle, Dr. Ruben West, Jennifer Lauren, Jessica Moyer, Dr. Jawanda Rollins-Fells, Dr. Lauren Michaels-Harris, Indy Nam, Tracy Randolph, Isabel Black, Sarah Minguez, Jill Reynolds, Kevin Wilson, Saccone Prince, Definitely Holly, Chuck Prison, Dr. Michael Freeland, Tommy Morgan, Prince Michael, James Griffin, Charlotte White, Aaron Page, Jeremy Nunez, Jeff Markinet Jr., Belton Showell III. Becoming the Best You Conference, February 17th through the 19th, 2023. Clayton Plaza Hotel, St. Louis, Missouri. Get your tickets today. Thank you for watching the show. And remember, always follow us on Facebook. Like and share, and make sure you tag a friend and let them know that you care. Let us know what other type of shows you'd like us to present for you.